Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel startuplanes.com. I am More Tanvi, and as you know, these are the series of interviews that we are conducting for the promotion of some excellent startups across our country. In today's interview, we have Mr. Ankit Dhir, the CEO and founder of Habilelabs Private Limited. It focuses on providing quality software development services around JavaScript frameworks. Their team size is 100 plus. They provide services in USA, Canada and Europe. They have expertise on React.js, nodeJs, Angular, React Native and Meteor. IT sector has been growing since ages. Mr. Ankit has also come up with a startup with an excellent idea. So let's know more about it and jump into the interview directly. So good afternoon sir, I am More Tanvi from Startup Lens and we very welcome you for this interview.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm good too.
Yeah. So I would please request you to introduce yourself to our viewers.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Ankit Dhir. I'm founder and CEO of Habilelabs Private Limited. And at Habilelabs, we provide JavaScript services to our customers. And we are focusing on almost every JavaScript framework, which include React.js, Angular, React Native. And we have a team of 100 plus developers currently, and we are providing services across the globe. Most of our customers are from USA, Canada, and Europe area, and we are providing software outsourcing services to those.
Great. So, sir, how did you come up with this startup idea?
So basically, like once we started, that was like area when Java was on really on very hype. Okay. So everyone was, going through the Java, .NET, those languages. So it's around like 2011. And then suddenly like some frameworks came which are based on the JavaScript for the front-end development. So that was a time when people are used to, JavaScript just for small form validation in the front end and maybe some small animation in a website. So we seen that area when like just having a small, validation to a complete framework. So we see that this is going to be a future. Okay, so that was a time when Angular was just building and very less organization was using Angular. So we come up with the idea that we can have, it's definitely going to be in demand in future. And we see the power. So somehow it's our, maybe you can say intuition, that we come to know this idea that we can provide services around the JavaScript based framework. So we plan to have a, service outsource company where we can create resources which are really trained, which are really skillful, and we can provide services around those frameworks.
Okay. So what are the difficult parts that you experience in the initial stages of the journey?
So as I mentioned, once we started, like we were very new to this era, and JavaScript frameworks were evolving that time. So definitely the resource was the difficult part. It's really difficult to get people with the correct skill set. So even like as I mentioned, everyone was want to go through Java and .NET and those frameworks. So people are not even ready to switch their code domain. So they want to stick to those technologies. They want to stick with the Java. So creating a team around a completely new framework and explaining people that this is going to be future and you will see like a lot of jobs will be get created around that. So the only way to hire talent is we have to hire from other domain. We have to hire from Java. We have to hire people from .NET and need to give them training in around .NET framework. And so people knows .NET framework, and we like compare them how MVC can work in Angular.js. So we create some relation, we train them, and that was the creating initially team was like one of the biggest challenge initially. And after that, the quality. So a lot of companies were there which are providing services, not on JavaScript but on the other website, and some are coming around JavaScript also. So the key difference between our organization and other organizations are the quality. We have the quality from the day one in the mindset. So we have a plan that we will always provide quality solution. So having a really correct framework in the place, so every employee can like go through that process, and we make sure that we have the correct quality check and have the correct quality. So that was like one of the really difficult tasks initially.
Sir, just now you mentioned that you had an established market before you started. So I want to know that what is the market gap that you identified?
So the market gap we identified is again like we have intuition that in future JavaScript will be a very key technology. So if you see today, every MNC you can take the name like TCS, Infosys, or SCL, Wipro. Everyone is using React JS nowadays. Okay,
Okay.
so that is a gap initially that people were not ready for these frameworks, and we come up with the idea that this gap we can fill. We can create resources which are really skillful around those technology. So this gap we filled around the resources availability in the market and the demand, because those technologies were emerging, and it's gonna lot of other customers today are migrating to JavaScript technology, and earlier like we identified that gap and we try to fill that with the correct manpower.
Okay. So, sir, I would
So
like to know
that
that did your friends and family help you funding in the initial stages of your journey?
So I would say like we are fortunate enough to what we did, like from the day one we were profitable. We started with freelancing initially, so we have cash flow in hand, and we use the same money, just rotate that around our business, and that way like we keep improving our financials and everything. So so far we haven't find any issue with the cash flow, and that's why like I think we are lucky also that we are able to build organization with our own cash.
So that's great. So I would like to know that did you ever approach the investors, and if yes, then how did you approach them?
Not yet. Actually, we haven't feel as such any financial issues. So let's say if something is there, definitely banks are there, and until unless it is not required for the business, I don't think we will go for the investor. But yeah, we are open. Let's say if we have some plan which need like a lot of cash, and then we can approach investors.
Okay. So till now we have talked about the market, the services you provide. I would like to know the business model in detail.
Sure. So for the business model, we are offering two critical business model from our organization. That is like software consultancy and resource as a service. So I will give you a brief detail about these two models. In software consultancy, let's say there is a company which want to have a software to be built by an external company. So they can outsource their idea to us, and we create a team around their idea, and we have like we will arrange all the correct key members. I mean like project manager who will identify all the requirement, and like create initial documentation. We have like sign off with the customers, and we give the consultancy around this idea from end to end. It means like arranging developer for creating that application or web software. After that, correct team of testers who can test that and give the feedback back to the team, and we build that complete software. After that, we give support in after development of software. Also, some issues are there, so our team is there. So that is like first model in which we work.
Okay.
The second model in which we work, that is resource as a service. And that, let's say there is an organization which has like requirement of a React JS resources. So we already have the skilled resources. We can provide them on hourly basis, and they can hire them, and they can like manage. They will be like part of their company. Okay. So they can just like give tasks to them. They can include. They can be a part of their team, and they can utilize as like a regular employee. So that is our second model.
Okay.
And overall, like we say one more thing, like we can provide you virtual CTO also. So let's say some people is there who has a really brilliant idea and they are lagging around the technology. So we can provide them all the technology, including taking ownership of that technology. We provide all the solution, and our team member will work as a virtual CTO. So that is also a model we are working with some of the customers.
Great, great. Sir, as you know that we are going through an uncertain pandemic since almost a year. So I would like to know that what are the other factors you see impacting your business in the coming year?
So talking about the factors which are going to affect our business. So as I mentioned, everyone is just coming around this framework. Everyone is using JavaScript nowadays. So competition is keep on increasing. So innovation and quality are the two factors which will play a key role in the future. So for us also and for other organizations also, they have to keep innovating their internal processes, their framework, their software development processes, and then again whatever coming new into the market that we need to capture rapidly. That way any company can survive. Otherwise, competition gonna kill everyone.
Yeah. Sir, as you mentioned earlier that your business is you need tech people around you. So I would like to know that do you plan to hire fresh talents in your business?
Yeah, definitely we do. We do fresh hiring at least 10% every year, like of total hiring,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, so we are open for that.
Okay. So what are the traits you are looking in the fresh talents?
So I can say like there are only two things which matter a lot. One is desire, like that people should be desire to learn the technology. Second thing is interest. They should like what they are doing. Okay, if you are coming to a job which you don't like, so you cannot get really success around that. Okay, so these are the two key factors which we look on any person. And as per me, like if some person having interest in anything and he desire to do that, he can do it.
Okay.
So
Sir, as
that's
you
like really
mentioned
important.
that you are in this business since years. So I would like to know that according to
Yeah.
you, what are the personality traits of a good leader?
So if you talk about the good leadership, I would like to copy this answer from. I remember like I read lot of book. One is my favorite book, that is Things and Grow Rich. Okay, so Napoleon Hill give a really great detail around it. What are the good attribute about good leaders? So it is a really old book, and those are still true. Okay, so I am just saying some point from that book. So one is like courage. So a leader should have a courage whatever he is doing. Okay, then second point is self control. A leader should be in self control. It should not be a way that let's say you say you're a person who is working with you, you say you have to start at morning 9 o'clock and the leader is coming, let's say 12 o'clock. It's not gonna work. So you have to self control yourself. And then there should be a definite of decision. Okay, so whatever decision you are taking, it should be, you should stick to that. You should not be a person you are keep changing your decision. So if you are keep changing your decision, your followers, or you can say the people who are working with you, will not gonna trust you, because they know today is saying something and tomorrow it's gonna change. Okay, so you have to like definite of decision. Then your plan, there should be some plan. A person without a plan, I don't think it can move. So there should be some plan, and the leader should create that plan and follow that plan and make sure that plan should work. So that is very important. And then habit of doing more than paid for. Okay, this is like really one of the very important attribute for a leader. So a leader should always ready to work more than their followers. Otherwise, like no one, it cannot be an influence to the people. And then the next point I would like to say, mastery of detail. So a leader should know what he is doing. He should know everything in detail. If he don't share the detail with his followers, so followers cannot understand like what the leader there will be no clarity in the thought. So that's why it's really important that whatever detail, whatever leader is saying, it should be say in very detail. And next point I will say, willingness to assume full responsibility. So it's more about the responsibility. So leader should be a person who take all the responsibility.
Great. So if you're talking about leadership, I would like to know that what is the good part and what is the bad part of being a CEO?
Okay, so that's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
I think CEO, I feel CEO is a person, is similar to CPU in a computer. Okay, so computer, a CPU is a very important role. CPU means central processing unit.
Yeah.
So that control all the external element in the computer. Without CPU, I don't think any device can work. So similarly, CEO control all the different organization, different, I can say, a department. Okay, so whatever happening in HR, so CEO has like full responsibility. So that is, I think, the best way, like the best part of being a CEO is you have the correct power, and you see like with that power you can change your dream to reality.
Yeah.
Okay, and it will happen in front of you. So whatever your dream, a CEO see that, converting that into reality. So that is like the best part of being CEO. And talking about the worst part of being CEO, so that is again you are like central part of all the departments, center part of everything. So you are responsible for everything. So let's say if some mistake is there from a developer in front of client, you have to face that.
Yeah.
And you have to make a solution for that. So that is really worst part. Sometimes you need to take very quick decision. So that is, I think, really difficult challenge. But yeah, it's a part of your role.
Okay. So nextly, I would like to know that describe a time you had to make tough decisions. For example, budget cuts or organizational restructures, etc.
Yeah. So there is something. It's recently happened in this pandemic also.
Yeah.
So what we face, we hired a couple of new, new developer, and we provided them full time work from home. So they are working from home. So expectation was like they will give us like full attention, and they are working for our organization. But what we feel like we somehow, like, some people are there who are still enroll in some other job, still being part of full time employee for our organization.
Okay.
So once we started with a policy that we will not fire anyone. Okay, so we have like no firing policy, but when we see, like, we give them 1 month warning, we again discuss with them that we hired you, so you have to work for at least, you have to be very responsible and work for us. But they are still like continuing with some other work. So that was really tough decision to ask them to go from our organization.
Yeah.
That is something I feel as a tough decision.
Okay.
So because that was like against our policy also, no firing policy.
Right, right. So what did you do for it, and what are the results now?
So what we did for that decision, like, we asked them to leave our organization if they can't like continue full time with us. And the result, it's give a good impact on everyone, that our policy can, no firing policy can be changed if you are not serious. So it give a small message to everyone, and people get bit serious about that. And we also do, yeah, some changes around our work from home policy, and now like we are really comfortable, and I think we can work really long for work from home, and we are still like hiring people which are gonna work from home always.
Yeah, being loyal to work is important. True.
Exactly.
Yeah. So next, I want to ask you that are you looking for any vendors to simplify any part of your business?
Yeah, definitely. So some of the department we have completely outsourced. For example, accounts, we don't have anyone internally in our account team. So that is something we provided to our vendor. Same thing with the I think legal team. Legal team is also completely outsourced.
Okay.
So those are two departments which we completely outsource, and there are a couple of other things also which we can like provide to other vendor, which is regular part of our business. For example, giving some training to our organization, and that part like currently we are handling, but that also like we are looking for some really expert which can take that.
Okay. So lastly, I would like to ask you that what are your recent and long-term plans for your business?
Okay, sure. So about the recent plan for our business, currently we are focusing on a single technology, that is JavaScript. We are covering all the framework of JavaScript. So as per the recent plan, we want to extend it to couple of more technology. We want to extend around 3 key areas. One is IoT domain that we want to explore more. Second is Salesforce. So we are working towards creating a team around Salesforce. And third point is AI. So artificial intelligence is something where we see the future in upcoming next 10 years. So that is something we want to explore and we want to include in our organization. So these are like our short-term goals, we can say.
Yeah.
And about long-term plan, we want to expand to our organization to other countries. We want to open office in Europe and USA. So that is our long-term plan, to have a global staff and global team across the globe.
Great, great. So lastly, if you want to say something to your viewers or our viewers, it would be great.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to convey a message that desire is like something which is really important. If you want to do anything, if you have the correct desire, you can definitely achieve it. So it always starts with a small ignite, and that is desire. If you want to do something, just follow that, and you will be able to do that.
So surely this advice would be, important and crucial for many. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time and crucial words. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.